Hello, Enrique Escabok here. I am a woman who rules with a new life. I'm just sitting here. Ogechi just here protecting my sister, making sure that she's safe and she's warm and protected, that no one bothers her and harasses her, and that that she's safe, and just that. And we are here praying and praying for the freedom of Indigenous people, Indigenous Emancipation. We're praying right now for a systematic shift in the consciousness of Canada. We're praying for truth, peace, truth, and reconciliation to happen. And it's I'm feeling there's a lot of emotions going on right now, and as I see trucks and transports driving by here with tanks of ore and minerals and lumber and wood and things driving by, and it saddens me because I'm just wondering, out of where all that came from. This is extracted from our lands, and what did we get? How are we compensated for things being extracted, for minerals and resources and water, and for things being poisoned? When are we going to be compensated for everything that has been taken without our consent or approval? We made agreements in agreements we never surrendered lands. There was no surrender of any lands in the treaties that were signed. They were just agreements that we would live and cohabit, that we would live in cohabitation and in peaceful harmony and be good stewards of the land and live in prosper and health until so long as the sun shines and the wind blows and the grass grows and the water flows. Well, I don't know how long this stuff is going to happen. Like, the wind is blowing and the sun does shine and the grass does grow. We do have rivers flowing, and it's snowing outside. That's some precipitation. We're in the middle of a snow blizzard here. Just praying for, I don't know, who knows what Creator will do, how Creator is going to honor this, what Creator is doing. Praying for, in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en people. There's no need for pipelines. There's no need for pollution. There's no need for any of this stuff. There's no need for homelessness. There's no need for nuclear energy. We could have solar and wind technology on every home and public building. If money was invested into that instead of pipelines, we would be a much more happier nation. Everyone would have their needs. They would be able to spend money, and their housing would be more affordable. There's no need for homelessness to be happening here when in this city right now there's all kinds of empty houses and buildings. Empty why? Because people are not paying can't afford to pay $1,500, $800,000 rent for a one bedroom. $800, $900, and have no food to eat, no anything else, not able to heat themselves or feed themselves. That's a little unbalanced, I think. And I think if everybody had a roof over their head and was able to, have a roof over their head, then there's some peace in that, and you can get up and have a life and think every day. There's no need for poverty. There's more. This earth, this planet gives us more than enough. More than enough. More than we need. And as I'm here on this fast, because we are the new Israel. Indigenous people are the new Israel. God is on the side of the oppressed. He is close to those who mourn and grieve or hurting. Well, we are here, been sick. We've been tormented. We've been killed. We've been murdered. Our people have been starved. Like, it was the policy in the founding, John A. Macdonald, one of the founding people in this nation, it was his policy to starve Indigenous peoples. And he was getting criticism that he wasn't starving them enough. And it was a starvation. Oh, we gotta starve them so that they'll come and be their slaves. That's what they wanted. They wanted to starve us to make us their slaves. And we would rather starve than be slaves. Taking away our bison, killing off our bison, and killing off our animals, our food supplies. That was how this country was founded, and removing peoples from their lands and their territories, forcibly removing these people from their lands and territories, killing their main food supplies. Like the Hudson's Bay Company came and had their trading posts. And in these trading posts, they would send out trappers and pay all kinds of pelts and pay for money and guns. And it was a way some people made a living trapping animals. There's another way of starving. That has an effect. Like, the beaver population almost went extinct, and I'm probably sure some animals went extinct during that time. They're not here. But we wouldn't know because, there was no recording in the history. And all of these pelts and beavers were collected for hats. For some hats. For them felt hats. For them top hats. Like, the guy on the Monopoly. And for the bowler hats, and for ladies' fashion hats, and men's hats in England, and that was fashionable, and that was all for fashion. Starve our people and kill off our animals for fashion, for vanity. No, there was no sacred in that. No sacred respect in creation. All creation is sacred. Creator gave all this creation, and this creation is more than enough to sustain us, to keep us alive. There's no reason the earth gives us enough. The mother gives us enough. This creation here. And as I'm here at the border, and I'm praying for our people, I'm praying for the freedom. I'm praying for our non-Indigenous friends to be able to see what's happening, see what's going on, and that the eyes would be opened, that the scales would be removed, that the veils of darkness would be removed, that they could see, that they wouldn't be blind in their understanding. I pray for the eyes of their understanding to be open. Praying for First Nations people to be acknowledged as the rightful landowners, because we never surrendered any lands. This is all unceded lands. We never surrendered all unceded Indigenous territories. We only said we could live together. We never said come and take over and push us around and be big bullies. No matter how much we give you, you guys take and take and take. Take our kids, rape our children, take our kids and teach them to want to be like you, to want to be agents of death and destruction. To have no respect for creation, to have no honor, to only crave power and respect and look out for number one and be selfish, not care about the future, not care about future generations, not care about how our decisions affect others and what we do, how it affects others, how it affects all creation, all life, the trees and the water and the animals. And the land and the rock and the dirt. We have one planet to feed us all, to house us all. Because right now, everyone in the whole world will be homeless. Meaning that we'll have no home. Our planet will no longer be able to sustain us. So it's time to pray for, that we really seriously look into ways of cleaning, like we could purify our water systems with Dean Kamen slingshot technology and have our water systems pured and be able to invest in innovate and taking things away from the pipeline and investing in real free energy. There's a lot of free energy. Farming, looking into ways to create food that's safe, and protecting the animals, and protecting our food supplies, and keeping our planet safe, because it's here to feed us. We can live off the food that this planet gives us. But if we don't treat it well, if we just keep littering it and poisoning it and dumping everything in it, then if we won't be able to live in it anymore. And clean water should be available to everyone, and it's not that hard. Coca-Cola, and Nestle company own technology to clean our waters, and they're going around draining our lakes and rivers and underwater reservoirs, underwater streams and wells, to and putting it in bottles, and they turn on a tap or whatever, and the wells, and they pay like 10 cents or whatever, 10 cents for how many hundreds of liters, and they charge us for it. They put it in bottles and charge us for it. Oh my goodness, there's a big truck of lumber just going by right there. How much did my son get paid for that? What reserve did that come from? Whose lands did that come from? It's time to pay us what you owe us. Canada's illegally occupied nation. There's over here when we at the border, at the middle of line where we walked yesterday, when the bridge closed off the bridge, when we shut down the bridge yesterday to do a water walk and ceremony on the bridge. There's a flag there, American flag, Canadian flag. Where's the Indigenous flag? Because American flag, Canadian flag are not our flags. They don't represent us. To us, the Canadian flag is lies and hypocrisy and corruption. That's what the Canadian flag right now represents. Stand on guard for lies and corruption, and how this country was founded in the starving and the killing off of Indigenous peoples, and treating Indigenous peoples like subhumans, not treating us like the nations we are. Just coming over here and just taking everything and raping, your rape culture. I mean, this is a rape culture. Rape our women and children are murdered and missing. Indigenous women and children and men going missing and murdered. No real investigation goes into any of that, and the sex trafficking, and it's these prime ministers, these leaders, that are corrupt. There's no integrity. They promise and promise and promise and promise and say they're going to deal this and put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. We've been waiting now for 527 years. And we put on the back burner. So it's time. And I'm praying for peace and truth and reconciliation. And this is right now what we're doing. This is a peaceful demonstration, a peaceful ceremony. we're not gonna be violent, or we're just here to demonstrate and show, and hopefully to bring awareness, and to bring about an awakening, that the people will become awake and know and understand that things can't go on like they have. Things can't continue going on anymore. Our planet is bleeding and crying and in pain, fevers and chills. Boils and sores, parasites. The whole planet is living. And the enemy just wants to destroy us, wants to destroy that Gemnido, that one that goes against creation, goes against us, doesn't want this creation. So he hardens the hearts and blinds and distracts and lies. The spiritual forces that are at work here in the spiritual realm, things that go on in the spirit, are more real than anything that we touch, more real than anything that we touch that's tangible. Things that we cannot see are more real and are infinite. Our spirit, our soul, the person that we are inside, that's more real, that's eternal, that's came out of eternity for a time here in these vessels, to live here, to walk out, for a purpose, to be here, to be love and wisdom and kindness. With purpose. Creator has a plan and purpose for all of us. Is just be brave enough to ask Creator where He'd have you go. His Creator's plans are best. If we trust Creator, if we look to Creator and ask for Creator's help with whatever we're doing, whether you're working, you're doing research, you're doing science, policing, you're doing whatever it is you're doing, lawyering, doctor, nursing, that you would ask for Creator's help. And He'll show you and help you and prosper you. And right now, like what's happening here, like the police and the border officials are being very cooperative and amicable. They're not sending us away. They're letting us stay here on the bridge, behind the toll here, and by the duty shop, and we're here able to do this, and that's Creator's favor surrounding us like a shield. Creator's with us right now as we are fasting and preparing for our people, preparing for an awakening, preparing for preparing for this truth and reconciliation to really happen, to be real and with practical solutions that the government here in Canada that operates here will invite Indigenous peoples to the conversation where we can have an Indigenous way of governing. This is our lands. Our governments should be here making decisions. We should be involved in the policy making and making decisions and showing you how we govern on our lands. Because we were here, we had governments, we lived here for millennia on this land. Not starving, healthy, happy, living long, healthy, beautiful lives. Yeah, sure, we had our territorial wars and stuff. But, we lived our life, never took more than we need. Yeah, maybe we wanted, families getting bigger. Family squabbles, tribal squabbles happening. Who knows why wars happen? Pride, but we are capable of peace and having peace and living in peace. We have a system of governing. We have our laws, our ways of governing. We had our system. And this is what needs to be acknowledged. That these systems of governance that we had as nations here in Canada, all the nations across Canada, they need to be recognized. And in the municipalities, we have the peoples that are there too. This law taxing taxes, all this stuff, money. People are living here on this land. They sell, the realty companies sell and own and develop lands and all this kind of stuff, and we don't get our share that we're supposed to get. When somebody takes what was supposed to transfer or whatever deed or whatever from one land to another land, person, we're supposed to get a portion of that, and we're supposed to have a say. We should have a say in where all the money is spent. When stuff is taken out from the earth, where it goes, how it's taken out, taken out. So things are taken in a way that's not harming. Because right now we have more than enough. We have waste, landfill sites. We're looking for waste, and it's dumping in the oceans and all this kind of stuff. We have landfill. See, they're landfilled sites. Means that they're full of our filth. Government of Canada empower the Indigenous people to clean up the landfill sites, and look into making composite lumber out of recycled materials from their landfill sites, cleaning it up and recycling it. Government of Canada, empower our people to build a maglev speed rail technology. All these rails that we're blocking off, that can be replaced. And we can have dual rails for speed rail technology, and another and other rail, and a regular rail. But speed rails, maglev technology, does exist. Like, it is being built right now. It's in China, it's in Europe, and Japan. They're building one that builds that's like over 600 kilometers an hour. 600 kilometers an hour. We could get from here to Toronto in 1 hour and be back, go for an appointment and be back the same day. From here to Sault Ste. Marie. Being there, and having the Supreme Court, the UN, the United Nations Declaration Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Canada signed that in 2014. Well, here doesn't say that. Are you going to repeal your decision? You're going to go against what needs to happen, the truth and reconciliation that was built out of the Royal Commission of Aboriginal Aboriginal Affairs or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. RCAP. The RCAP, Royal Commission of Indigenous. I can't remember the last thing, but it's just peoples and how we're treated, and that was an inquiry, and out of that became the Truth and Reconciliation. And what is that Truth and Reconciliation doing? Well, here are some real solutions for truth and reconciliation. Because if we had a national transit system with buses and trains, and that was affordable, with speed rail, but even right now, having a busing system in the meantime, this is the empowering the Indigenous people to own the Greyhound and run the Greyhound, which was used to be a Greyhound, the bus system, but we could a national transit system. Turtle Island transit system. But it can't be called that. Yeah. Wow, that's funny. I was just reading this thing and Gloria wrote a comment there. It's funny. It's cute. I'm just, as I sit here, and I'm happy, to see, it just fills me with joy and pride and hope when I see people standing together in solidarity here in Canada and throughout the world, with Wet'suwet'en people that are fighting against the pipeline. This pipeline was We said no. They said no. And they're still doing it anyways. Well, you're not supposed to. That's why we said no. Find another way. Find another way to get your power. Fly in your drones. There you go. Take your little drones and have your drones flying back and forth. Why you gotta have pipelines? Why do you gotta have take all that? What do we get for it? Anyways, what do indigenous peoples get for all that oil that's taken and extracted from the earth? How are we compensated? Indigenous peoples were taken from their homes and put in residential schools. The last residential schools closed in 1996. Was it 94? And I think it's 96. That's not too long ago. And all of that trauma that came out of that, and all of the effects that what happened in residential schools and what happened with taking children away from their parents, from their families, is a cultural genocide. Did a lot of damage, but you know what? We're still here and praying for the healing of our people, so they're not stuck on drugs, so our men stand up and take their roles, be responsible, be the men, be the protectors, providers. Are you okay? Viola? Hello? Okay. Alright, this is good. Yeah. So I guess thumbs up. She's not speaking, so... So this is day 3. I'm on day 3 of my fast. I'm just praying and hoping that I can make it to 40 days. I don't know if, I don't think I'll be 40 days here on the bridge. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just following what Creator has, and I'm just listening to His lead, listening to Creator's direction, and praying for Creator's guidance, praying for love and wisdom and patience to guide me, and truth and grace to guide me. Just praying for strength, and I'm feeling good, you know. So, and do feel a little tired and a little drained, and sometimes, but it's all good, and I'm glad for it. It's my honor and my privilege to be here. I love you all, and I just hope that that this has some kind of that as we're here, our prayers will move mountains, will move these mountains before us. I pray that this one stone of truth the red truth, this red stone of truth, will reign. Praying for peace and protection, and praying for the health of humanity. This coronavirus, it's just a plague that I talked about in my videos months ago. Talked about in the months ago about these plagues and about these things that are going to happen. Let our people go. Not more. We're no more. We're not going to take it anymore. We're no longer slaves. When the Israelites left Egypt, when they'd taken down the Pharaoh, they had left with all their jewels and riches. And the Egypts handed it over to them because Creator held that nation under siege. Creator did it. I'm just here at the border, just a tiny little inconvenience, and I see this snowstorm whirling. And I know that when there's a big snowstorm like this on the bridge, it makes it pretty treacherous on the bridge. And I'm just praying for people to be safe. But when it's really, really bad, they shut down the bridge. So who knows? Maybe that's what Creator has planned. That it'll be things that only Creator can do will shut things down. We don't have to do, we can just go and be there, be present. Just occupy. Just stand and be free, occupy. Take up a stand wherever you can. In peace and respect and integrity. Because, before we came up here and before we went on the walk, we consulted the elders, and the elders said, well, just go talk to them first. And that's what we did. We talked to them, and we sat down. We had a meeting with the bridge and the police and the sergeant and the customs, and sat there and had a meeting about having a walk the very next morning. So, and that meeting turned out, we're here. Creator's favor is surrounding us like a shield. Allowed us to be here, and we're still here, up here. And there's making sure that we're okay, that we're accommodated and safe, and if there's anything we need. It's been pretty amicable. That's something only Creator can do. So I'm just hoping that this gets out there a little bit, and I know it's kind of a long video, but this is just an update from today. And I just want to tell you I love you all, and I'll be on again sometime soon. And right now on the internet and the blocking and the phone and all this kind of stuff, I get followed, I'm being followed, and it's okay. I'm not scared. Because from what all I've survived, from all the times I've survived death and died and nearly died, stabbed, attacked, rolled over, car accidents, attacked, just all the stuff I've survived. All my suicide attempts. Yeah, if I was, when it's my time to go, Creator will bring me home, and I don't have to worry about anything until that day, because it's all in Creator's hands. He's the author of everything. Only He can decide when I live and die. He's ultimate. Creator's ultimately in control. So I humble myself. I humbly pray. And offer myself. For all my friends. For all my family. All my relations. All my relations with the animals and creation. And all my relations with anybody I know and talk to and share with. And all my relations. Oh, somebody's coming up here. Bringing up something. I don't know. Checking up. Making sure we're okay. I think, anyways. It's a duty worker. He has to walk through a snowbank and a big path and all this kind of stuff. And he's shaking his head. I don't know. I just pray that his eyes will be opened to understanding, and maybe someone, that Creator will bring someone across his path that will show him the truth, and someone that he respects, and that he'll be able to receive it, the message. And that's what we need to do. We need to educate people Go around and educate people, talk about it in kindness and grace, flowing with love and just intentionality and how to pray and be kind to one another. So, Chimigwech, for listening. Thank you. Grazie.